Hi guys, it's Ratchet5. Today I am doing yet another politics video. This time it's on the UK again, um, and it's also proportional representation, but this time it is split up into regions. So we have Northern Ireland, Scotland, Northeast, Northwest, Yorkshire, and the whatever it's called, so on, so on. Um, the way I've done this is that I've given seats proportional to the number of their population. So, for example, London has I think it has like uh, 13% of the population. So I've given them 13% of the seats, which is 26. Same goes for these guys. It's not perfect. This is south east. It's not perfect, but um, it's probably they would come up with, or something very similar to this is what they come up with if they were going to do it like the Ireland or the Australian Senate, where it's single transferable vote. The last video I just made is technically also single transferable vote, but when people talk about single transferable vote, they get this kind of thing where they split the country into areas, and then each area gets a proportional number of seats, and then there's an election in each area to decide who gets the seats. So let's begin. If you're not following me, you could probably grab it later into the video. We'll start with an easy one, which is East Midlands, which is this one over here. So in this scenario, the Tories will gain 8 seats and Labour will gain 6 seats. So so as you can see here, there is the number of seats in this place is 14. So what you do is you do 100 divided by 15, and then that's the quota for how much percentage they have to get in that seat. So it's actually 6.6% is the quota, and so you get a seat per 6.6% of the vote. So Labour happen to get 6, and then the Tories get 8. Let's move on to the northeast. Once again, pretty simple. 5 for Labour and 3 for the Tories. If we go down to London, we're going to put 15 for Labour. Sorry, that's not London. This is London. As you can see, London is there. We're going to put 15 for Labour. That's 12, 13, 14, 15. The Liberal Democrats actually get 2 seats, and the Conservatives grab 9. So this system, spoilers, will be better for the Lib Dems because any kind of proportional system, including the one that I made yesterday, the one that was pure proportional representation, very much helped the Lib Dems because they're the kind of party that is kind of excels around the country, but it doesn't excel in a large it doesn't get seats like a large number of seats because it's split evenly among the country rather than just in certain areas. So the Lib Dems will benefit a decent amount from this system compared to the Labour and the Tories. They don't do quite as well as they do. I think maybe Labour will do around the same, but Tories do quite as well in this kind of system, mainly because a lot of their votes end up going to the Lib Dems because yeah, that's just the way it works. East of England, we have 11 for the Tories. Yeah, that's right. I believe we have 1 for the Lib Dems again. Yep, and then we have 7 for Labour. Let's go down to Northwest. Another quite a big seat. Labour will get 13. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. The Tories will get 7. Oh wait, I'm mathematics this wrong, haven't I? Sorry, the Tories will get 8, and then Lib Dems get 1. I'll put that there, and then I'll put that there. Now we go to the Southwest, where the Conservatives will be getting 9. The Labour will get 5. And the Lib Dems actually do pretty well here. They actually get 3. So 1, 2, 3. I'll put that there, and then I'll put that. Okay. Now we go down to the southeast. Um, Second biggest, or equal biggest seat with London. And here the Conservatives are getting 15, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Labour, well, the Lib Dems get 3. And Labour will be getting 7. Oh, sorry, yeah. So that was supposed to be 1 for them, and then that's right. And then we have the Greens as our last seat. So yeah, Greens actually pick up a seat here. It's their only seat in the country, unfortunately for them. And once again, this system, it is better for parties like the Lib Dems, which kind of spread thin around the country. But the Greens also spread thin around the country, but only managed to have a significant amount of votes in one seat for around the country. Or what was I going to say? So yeah, oh yeah. So if something I didn't talk about last video that I think I should really mention is the fact that if we did have this kind of system, we'd get a lot more votes for minor parties. So in this kind of system, I wouldn't be surprised if the UKIP picked up 1 here, because they almost picked up 1 here. They just couldn't quite meet the quota, which is for the southeast. It's 3.7%. I think they got something like 2.5% or something, but they couldn't quite meet it. So yeah, in this kind of system, UKIP will definitely grab a seat here. But unfortunately for UKIP, they still haven't grabbed the seat anywhere around the country in this system. They definitely grabbed like a bunch if it was 2015, but 2017, they were only got 2%, and they are unfortunately a bit spread too thin. Then we got the West Midlands, Conservatives 9. Labour we have 8, and then we got the Lib Dems 1 for here. So yeah, pretty even. The West Midlands, very very even actually, very 50-50 split. And we got Yorkshire and the Brumber, whatever it's called. I'm not sure what it's called. But that gets 9 for Labour. 7 for Tories. 7, and 1 more Labour. And then the last seat once again goes to the Lib Dems. We go up to Scotland. SNP are only getting 6. I believe that this is equal to how much percentage they got in terms of national vote, which I guess makes this system look kind of good. Labour will get 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the Conservatives will get. The Conservatives will also get 5, it seems. So yeah, so the SNP don't actually do quite as well. They only get 6, which is 3% instead of 5.4% of the vote. I also mentioned this is 200 seats. This isn't 199 anymore. So yeah, you need 101 to get a majority. We're going to go to Wales, where Labour gets 5. The Conservatives get 4, and then we have Plaid in the middle with 1, and then we have Northern Ireland, always a little bit interesting when it comes to this shit. DUP get 2, UUP gets 1, Sinn Féin gets 2, and then we have who's the last one? SDLP get 1. So this is what the Parliament would look like under this system. If you compare it to my pure proportional representation video, the Tories get 3 more seats, Labour gets 5, Greens get 2 less, SNP I believe gets the same, from what I remember. Yeah, that's right. The Lib Dems get 13 instead of 15, UKIP gets 0 instead of 4, Sinn Féin get 2 instead of 1, Play gets same amount, SDLP gets same amount, DUP gets same amount, and UUP gets same amount. So it's similar, but it's still different. So this kind of system, because it's regional, if this was to replace the House of Commons, it would make a bit more sense than just pure proportional representation, because you still get a local member, except obviously there's a lot more people in each of your areas. So if you want to vote for someone on really local issues, it's going to be very difficult. But if you want to vote for people like in your area kind of issues or region on your issues, then you can do that just as well. A lot of people would argue that that's what's necessary really, because when it comes to like federal elections or like the whole country elections, it makes sense like that you wouldn't be focusing on local issues because that's more for like local elections or whatever. So I don't think it's too big of a deal that it loses that. As I said, this is a system used in Ireland, except what makes this different is that the seats are a lot bigger. I'm pretty sure someone did their own STV, single transferable vote document or something where like there's only like 3 to 5 seats per like area, and the areas are a lot smaller and there's a lot more of them. This one is a lot bigger, and it does help the minor parties quite a bit more to have bigger areas. Basically, the bigger you have them, the more it helps minor parties. But it wouldn't unless like something was drawn like horribly. I think the only party that benefits minor party benefits is Sinn Féin. They get 2 here instead of 1. I think. Oh, yeah. Well, that's in my video anyway. But in reality, in the actual election, Sinn Féin received 1.1% of they did slightly better in the actual election than they do here. So, but it's only incredibly slight. But yeah, SDLP obviously get 1 instead of 0. You know, DUP got 2 instead of let's see, they got like 1.5%. So if it was at be equal, it would have to be 3 seats for the DUP. But yeah, Lib Dems benefit off it, and it still means that it's going to be some issues for a government to be able to, form government, to get a majority government. I mean, they can't do it, but, both parties, the Tories can, make a government with the Lib Dems, get a majority of 101. Labour would need that plus another 3, which wouldn't be too difficult for them. They can go with, like, say, Greens played in SDLP. But it would be a very slim majority. It would be slightly easier for the Tories simply because they got the DUP and the UUP and on their side. But once again, UKIP, they can't really do anything with them because they get 0 seats. So if there was this kind of system, yeah, UKIP would still be kind of fucked. But to be fair, I think it's more because of the fact that they lost so much percentage, mainly because of the spoiler effect after 2015. So I will be making a video about this for the 2015 election with these same seats. It might be the population might be a bit slightly different or something like that, but it shouldn't really matter too much. I'll be making that, and then you'll see exactly how well UKIP would have done under this system. The 2015 election, the reason I wouldn't actually make a pure proportional representation video about that is because of the fact that it's actually already been done. I think there's a guy called Soliloquy, some New Zealander guy who made a video about that. And I think GPC Grey has mentioned about that 2015 election, so it's been done to death. But like something with this kind of system where it's like split up into various regions and then counted. What I was actually initially going to do with this was that I was planning to just have Scotland, Northern Ireland, Wales, and then just have Northern England, Southern English, and then London. But then I saw that there was some. It was kind of the UK was kind of carved up into more areas than just that. And it was much easier to find, data for these areas. Like there's a Wikipedia page about it. So it made it a lot easier to just do it, with each area getting a certain amount of seats, and it does end up probably, well, I wouldn't say fairer, but it's definitely different and perhaps better for people who want to focus on local issues versus national issues, which it kind of turns into if you have just bigger electorates. Bigger constituencies. I don't know what you would call it. So yeah, maybe this would be an option for a replacement to the House of Lords. It does help major parties a little bit better than just pure proportional, so which means that you won't get as much parties basically making it really hard for the major parties. But even an election with 2017 where the major parties did very well, they still don't get close to a majority. So a lot of people would not be very happy about that. So 173, 174, 180, 193, 195, 196, 90, 197. Yeah, sorry, I was just checking. Yeah, it's it adds up to 200. So I think someone was talking in the comments about the Israeli parliament and how a whole lot of minor parties just hold up that. Yeah, that definitely ends up happening. In Australia, it's the same thing. Any system that uses some kind of proportional representation ends up like this. And so once again, as I said in the last video, it might be better if if you just have like a lower house which usually gets a majority government and an upper house which ends up like this, so that like you could tell exactly what kind of legislation they wanted to pass through the houses by them doing it in the lower house, and in the upper house you can see exactly who blocked that legislation. So it makes it a little bit more transparent than just having one seat with like with like this, because you don't even know what parties were trying to do, and you don't know who blocked it or anything it's like it becomes a lot more obvious when you have a bicameral system. And I mean, the UK already has a bicameral system. It's just that the House of Lords is like this outdated, like shitty thing. But yes, tell me in the comments what you think about this kind of system, whether you like it or not, whether you think I've like made any mathematical errors, which I am absolutely sure I have. I just did this basically all manually, this shit. So I probably made a lot of errors, lots of rounding up and rounding down, which definitely might be different if there was an actual election with single transferable vote. And I must mention that single transferable vote does mean that if your party does not get a quota, that your vote is transferred over to another party. So it's like preferential in that way, where you list a certain amount of parties in order, and if your vote does not get counted and passes over. So I mean that means it's like harder to calculate than I did. I think in like Scotland, it was kind of up in the air about whether or not Labour or the SNP would get this seat here. But I just gave it to Labour simply because of the fact that they were closer to getting the seat. I don't know how Liberal Democrats like preferences would work, if it would end up going to the SNP or it would end up going to Labour. So yeah, that's one example of where like it's not it's a bit of a toss up. But yeah, next video I'll be making this exact thing, but for the 2015 election. We'll see how well UKIP did, and see if SNP did better, because I know they didn't do as well in 2017 as they did in 2015. See if Lib Dems did worse, because I know they didn't do too well in 2015. And we'll see if it wouldn't be as completely abhorrent as the 2015 election was in terms of like representation, because it was really bad. But thanks for watching this video. There's been a experiment on the Visuals Senate Forseer. Please leave any criticisms in the comments. I'd like to hear them. Goodbye.